back to
I
Earth.
could not believe
If only
how
I was
stupid
some
that
other
is.
kind of scientist instead of an archaeologist, a guy who studies ruins and remnants of old things. But that's all I am, so there's nothing here for me. What the fuck is going on? Like, why? It's like the stupidest... So you just get to see him sitting there, like, crying about it all the time, and you're just like, what are you talking about? You found a whole planet of artifacts, and, like, not just artifacts, like, artifacts, we're used to artifacts from, like, the ancient world, like, you know, we find their buildings and their pottery and all this stuff, and we learn a shit ton from that. They've got fucking computers that still work, apparently. Like...
Yeah, and they found this
madness.
planet using nothing but those,
When they stumbled upon those
stupid cave paintings.
He didn't go, oh, I really wanted to ask those cavemen all these questions. I wanted to get all these answers, but all we found were their drawings on the wall. Well, pack it up, everybody. We're done here. Nothing can be learned from this. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. That is one thing, and that is a doozy. Like, that is really stupid. That is one thing among, like 50 things that happen in this movie that are all, like, similarly retarded and just make no sense. And that's the whole movie. I was stunned for, like, most of this movie how fucking stupid it is.
Well, I'm not gonna see Prometheus now, unless you think it's that bad that it's important as a work.
Rent it sometime, watch it, and just be mesmerized by how stupid it is, and just be going like, I can't... The thing is, it was way funnier for me because I didn't have any expectations going in. Like, I didn't know how this movie was going to be. I'd had reservations on how I was kind of disappointed that little things look like dumb, but I thought I was being a jerk and I was being a nitpicker, and I was like, whatever, I'm just a big nerd, and so I'm being, annoyed by these little things. But it really does translate to everything else. Like, the same people who made those dumb choices kept making other huger dumb choices in other areas of the movie, and it's just really pervasive all throughout the whole thing. Like, here's another one I have to bring up. There's this fucking guy that when he's introduced, both of them are introduced like retards. There's this biologist and this geologist. They wake up, right? Like, it's an alien movie, basically, so they have to wake up out of stasis at the start, right? So that it mirrors the other movie. So they wake up and whatever, and like some of them are throwing up or whatever, but anyway. So they get up, they're finally kind of, ooh, man, I've been asleep forever, so I'm all woozy, so let's, have some breakers and get back to normal. Do some push-ups and stuff like that. So they're all doing this stuff. And then the one guy walks over, he's like, kind of like a sort of a schlubby-looking guy, like he's wearing basically like a future hoodie. And, like, he comes up and he's like, so, this should be pretty cool or something, or blah, 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 or whatever. I'm being a nice guy. I'm trying to be friendly. I seem like maybe I'm a little, not really that charismatic, but I'm going to try my best and, try to make some friends here, because I don't really know everybody. The other guy immediately goes, like, shut your face. I'm just here for the money. I'm not here to be your friend. You want to make friends, you should have stayed on Earth or something. Like, he says some, like, super, like, cliche, like, what the fuck is your problem line. This would have been fine if he was set up to be, like, the asshole character, and then, like, later on it's, like, sort of, like, a little bit revealed, like, maybe he's a little bit kind of, broadened, and, they kind of paint him in a little more fully, and you can sort of understand why he's that way. No, like, he's that then at that part, and then later on he's like, we're going to go into this pyramid, I'm going to bring some weapons, and then the other chick is like, no, this is a scientific thing where we're trying to find our makers and be nice to people. You can't bring weapons, you stupid asshole. And then he's like, well, good luck with that. And then some people in the audience, like, laughed and stuff, but then he doesn't bring any weapons. Like, he's just, like, goes along with it. Like, he makes fun of her, but then he doesn't bring any weapons. So then they go in. So this guy, this same guy, this asshole. I can't remember his name. I'm gonna call him Red because he had red hair and these weird like Blixer tattoos. I think he was supposed to be Irish or something. I don't know. Anyway, he looks like Ken Shamrock. So they go in, and he throws up these two orb things that he calls his little babies, and they fly around and they start mapping the like internals of the pyramid that they chose to go to first, and they're flying around and they're mapping it. But this thing is huge, so it's going to take them a long time to map all of it. But they're generating like a 3D map that they can see back on the ship, and they're slowly mapping it all out. And like they can detect like other things and whatever. They're like these little scientific weird like sort of MacGuffins. They're just these little orbs, and they can do everything that we need them to. So they fly around, and then he looks at a thing on his wrist. And he's like, all right, I think we have to go this way if you want to, there's a big chamber up here. And everybody's like following him, like, you know, because he's got these map things and he made the map.
Right.
Right? So they're going, and then they see a hologram of some of the space jockeys running, and they go, and then the hologram ends when they get to like this door that's closed. And the one guy that fell down, the door like closed on his head and cut it off. So his corpse is still there, but with the head on the other side of the door. Anyway, so they get to that, and it's like 2,000 years ago that these events happen. That
okay,
of these things that they've come to. So, and they know that because like they carbon date that guy's corpse, and they're like, this guy died 2,000 years ago. For people who don't know, the Space Jockey was a design that the guy that did all the designs for the original like sort of Alien movies. It's the design that he did for that big corpse that they find in the first Alien movie, and people refer to him as the Space Jockey because it's this guy that sat in a chair and he has like a big like telescope or gun or something in front of himself, and it's a very iconic visual from the Alien movies. So a lot of people just refer to these aliens as the Space Jockeys. I do anyway. In the movie they keep calling them the Engineers, but fuck them. So they find this guy, and for some reason this freaks out Red. It freaks out the asshole guy who did the map and did all this stuff and doesn't want to be that guy's friend. So he's like, fuck this, I didn't sign up for this, you know, cliche movie line number 20. For some reason, a 2,000-year-old corpse scares him. So he's like, I'm out of here. You're out of here too, biologist guy? I don't even know why he talks to that guy. He hates that guy, but he's just like, you out of here too? Like, he has to convince that guy that he wants to leave. And the guy's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm getting out of here. And they go. So they leave. Okay?
Okay.
Everybody else is very curious, and they're scientists. I mean, everyone in this movie is a 5-year-old, but apparently they're scientists. They find a way to open the door. The android opens the door. The android knows how everything in this place works because he studied a bunch of old languages on Earth that would have come from the space jockeys when they came to Earth and made us. So he immediately knows how all their technology works. This is never explained, but he just does. He always walks around and like looks at things for a second, and then he like operates everything perfectly. I don't know how he does this. It's never. They didn't send a party to this place before this one, so just from reading old languages, he's just like extrapolated like how to run all of their. He now knows everything about them because he understands their language. I don't know how this works, but anyway. Maybe there's instructions on everything that he's reading, and I just can't see them, but I don't know how this works. It's never explained. Anyway, he opens the door. On the other side of the door is the guy's head, as well as a bunch of other crazy shit. It's that room that you've probably seen in the trailers with the big face and all like the vases.
Okay.
There's like goo coming out of them and stuff. Anyway, while they're messing around with the head, they're like, wow, his head's intact. We should take it back and, I don't know, do science on it or something. Then it's too heavy. Can you help me get it in this big bag? And then while they're messing around with that, the android, while nobody's looking, he goes over and he takes one of the vases and he puts it into a duffel bag. And it's like, no, nobody saw me do that. I've got some secret agenda. And then they leave because while they're doing all of this, the guys on the ship, they go, there's a big storm coming in. You guys could get really fucked up by it. You gotta get back before the storm comes in. I'm closing the door when it gets here because I don't want the ship to get all fucked up. So you gotta make it back quick. So they all come back. Bum, bum, bum. There's a big scene. They gotta They have to outrun the storm. It's like right behind them, like, oh, it's gonna get him, oh, it's gonna get him, and then like the bag with the head falls outside the door, and then the chick, you know, because she's like super like, I gotta do this science, she like runs out and like goes to grab the head, and she's like trapped, and then the android comes out and he like attaches a thing onto a thing, and he comes out and he grabs them and he saves them and pulls them in just in time, and you know their suits are all scuffed up but they're not dead or anything, and they got the head, and he's like, what the hell were you doing? That was crazy, and all this stuff, right? Now, after all that is resolved, it turns out that Red and Fuckface, they're still in the pyramid. Okay? Everyone else got a radio call to come back. They left before them. Because they were like...
Because the script told them to.
I'm out here, by which I mean I'm going to go wander around in the corner.
Because they needed them to be there, and they needed an excuse to separate them before they all got back, because they needed them to still be in the pyramid at that point in the plot. So the script said, hey, we have to separate ourselves, so they did.
Did they not get the radio call that everyone else got that you got to get out?